Trivium are back with their 10th studio album, In the Court of the Dragon. They only put an album out last year, didn't they? Yes. Yes, they did. Isn't it a bit overkill putting out another album already? No. No, it isn't. And what, may I ask, makes you say that? Because this album is fantastic from start to finish. We've kind of given the review away there, haven't you? It would seem I have. Almost no point in watching the video. Please watch the video. I've done it now and you've already clicked on it. Good to see you back, Ben. Watch the video, please. Welcome back to another review video, and today I'm going to be taking a brief look at the new Trivium album. To be honest, I wasn't sure whether to do a review this week or not, but there was no way I could miss this one. Also worth pointing out that at the end of this video I'm going to do a bonus review for the latest Carcass album, Torn Arteries, which I didn't get a chance to do a couple of weeks ago. So if you get bored with the Trivium one, why would you? I don't know why I said that, because it's fantastic. My review and the, well, you know. Check out my Torn Arteries review at the end. I'll put some effort in. In the Court of the Dragon by Trivium. This is their first album, not first album, this is their 10th studio album. And this comes after What the Dead Men Say, which only came out about 18 months ago, I think it was. So they've clearly been working their asses off throughout lockdown. And I think anybody who follows Matt Heafy, whatever, on social media will know that he's very proactive and that the disciplinarian, I guess, who keeps everything going. Although I'm sure the other guys have their part to play as well. I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm sure you're lovely guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about the songs in just a second, but before I do, just a quick word on the artwork. Apparently Matt Heafy was saying that while the music of In the Court of... why is it whenever I'm actually reading something, I've got the words in front of me, I can't do it? While the music of In the Court of the Dragon was taking shape, we knew we needed epic artwork of the type that you might see on the wall of an important museum from a long-dead Renaissance master. After extensive research, we found one of the few living artists who was capable of creating artwork like Caravaggio or Gentilici. I'm an uncultured fool. Painter Matteo Nozier took our song title and created an original oil painting on canvas unlike anything we could ever have imagined. It's so staggeringly breathtaking, epic, and it looks like what the song in the album sounds like. Oh my god, imagine if I could say words that meant things. Oh... 5 years I've been doing this shit, and yet again, still can't talk. Yeah, let's get straight into the songs. Start out with this 90-second kind of instrumentation piece, very choral in its delivery, and this echoes what we'll hear at the end of the Phalanx. Is it the Phalanx or the Flanks? I'm not sure, but it echoes the end of that song and kind of creates this loop almost for the album from start to finish, which is very nice. It's also the Roman numeral for 10 is the title of the song, this being the 10th album. I think What the Dead Men Say started out with number 9. Bit of a tangent. Moving on to the title track itself, In the Court of the Dragon. And this was the second single, I think, to be released. And this just shows what absolute top form the band are on. Everybody is firing on all cylinders. Great chorus. Alex Bent. You're going to hear me talk a lot about him throughout this review. He's without doubt their secret weapon. Such a phenomenal drummer. Some of the double bass work that he does in this towards the tail end of the song is just absolutely on point. So good. You know, spoiler warning as well. You can pretty much take it as read that every one of these songs that I'm talking about I just love. This album's great. Spoiler right there. It's just a cracking album. Every song is spot on. Next song is Like a Sword Over Damocles. This one starts out as a mid-paced chugger and then moves into faster tempos, got elements of Maiden, Killswitch Engage. Another one with an incredibly catchy, almost poppy chorus. They really do nail the choruses on this album. I particularly enjoyed the bridge solo section on this. Such complex riffs, throughout actually. Riffs per square riff is just all over. There's a lot of riffs on this album. Next up we have Feast of Fire, which was the first single to be released. And this is a mid-paced, anthemic, dare I say, radio-friendly tune. But I don't mean that in a bad way. So damn catchy. Absolutely glorious chorus on this one. Moving on to A Crisis of Revelation. Moving into thrashier territory on this one with some fantastic instrumentation throughout and another undeniable chorus. Paolo does some fantastic bass work. I think it's also worth pointing out that the solos throughout this album as well, between Matt and Corey, is just top tier as well. So much to enjoy. The Shadow of the Abattoir, I have to say this is probably one of my favourites. Really, really Maiden-esque intro on this one. Very, you know, kind of Fear of the Darkish type of intro. Got a great bass line from Paolo and these haunting guitar lines just going through it as well. Matt Heafy sounds great on this as well. His vocals, you can tell he's put so much work into them over the years. He's really progressed as a singer. Not only can he do he can do a real decent heavy vocal, but he's also getting really good with the cleans. Really enjoyed this one, real epic feeling song. Starts out quite mellow and then gets into real metal as it goes. Next up we have No Way Back, Just Through. The band pretty much come out swinging on this one, just go straight into it. Touch of djent in the riffage, but also black metal as well. There's some really frenetic tremolo picking. Yet another fantastic chorus. We then move into Fall Into Your Hands, and this one starts out with a drum intro, basically. Alex Bent showing off his truly phenomenal skills. I said earlier, he really is the band's secret weapon. I think he's been with them since 2015 now. Pretty much every album that they've had him on now, they just seem to be getting better and better. So many great riffs in this song. There was a real cool bass section again with Paolo. Awesome. Then we move into From Dawn to Decadence. Frenetic as all fudge. Matt sounds absolutely feral in the verses on this one, and yet another catchy chorus. Alex hammers everything home, and yet again, so many great riffs. It's just ridiculous the amount of riffs they put into this album. It's just great. And finally we have the Phalanx, or the Flanks. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I've already done 2 videos on this. I did a reaction video which originally got blocked, so then I did a review video for it, which a bunch of you watched, and then the reaction video was able to come out. So I've already got 2 videos out for this one, so by all means go and check one of those out. But safe to say, phenomenal song, and the outro was just absolutely epic, and it really made sense that this was the end of the album. So that's a brief rundown of my thoughts on each song. I mean, in terms of the album itself, the score, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. It's just fantastic. There's not a single bad song in it. Part of me wants to give it a 10 out of 10, which, I don't know, that seems quite extreme, doesn't it, giving something 10 out of 10? But then again, I can't for the life of me think of any real reason not to. There's not a bad song on it. It's just enjoyable from start to finish. But I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I don't know, this one could well become a classic, I think. It's just... Trivium are just great. They really have done so well over the last couple of years. I read this article in Metal Hammer, actually, not so long ago. It was the review for this album, and the reviewer made a very valid point, roughly saying that so many people give Trivium a hard time, but actually when you look at it, for the past 5 or 6 years, they've been putting out consistently good material. And it is true. I mean, What the Dead Men Say was a great album. I think it's time to realise that Trivium have paid their dues. They've been in the trenches for years, and they really have paid their dues, man. They really have. What I liked about this album, there were so many different influences on there. There was black metal. There's definitely parts of it that sounded like other bands. You know, you had Killswitch, Machine Head, Maiden. You know, there's black metal parts in there and everything. But it's still uniquely Trivium. They've taken their influences. They wear them on their sleeve, but they've made them their own, and they're their own band. You know, they've really developed into their own thing. Well done, Trivium. Well done. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for this album. Loved it. If you haven't already, check this album out. You're going to enjoy it. And as you guys are still here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the latest Carcass album, Torn Arteries, which came out 3 weeks ago now, I think it was. And this is one that I didn't do a review for, but I wanted to say a little something about, because I am loving this album. I've been listening to it pretty much consistently over the past 3 weeks, and I'm just loving it. Carcass are one of those bands who have really, in my opinion, they've aged gracefully. They still put out really heavy albums, but they put so many different little influences. They're just another band that are uniquely them. You know when you hear a Carcass song. Oh, and Swan Song is a good album, by the way. Let's just get that straight. It is a good album. Starts out with an incredibly Carcass intro with Torn Arteries. Just really frenetic, fast-paced, brutal, so fun. Then we go into the dance of Ixtab, which is it's just got such a groove and a swagger. It's much more mid-tempo. Maybe you can go in slow tempo actually, but oh my God, such a fun song. I just enjoy the groove on it. Bill Steer really is one of the most underappreciated guitar players, I think. He is just so good. He's got such a unique style, how he fuses death metal and grindcore and everything, along with this bluesier kind of playing. He's just one of the best. Next up we have Eleanor Rigor Mortis, which is fucking, again, their classic humour and Jeff Walker's sneer and sarcasm in his lyrics. This one's another great one. Starts out with this blistering solo and then goes into this really, again, I just love their... I actually kind of enjoy their slower riffs. They just got such a feel to them and they're just so heavy. A lot of times heavier than their faster stuff, I think. Under the Scalpel Blade, this was included on the... I can't remember the name of the EP they did last year. This is another great one. The Devil Rides Out is a really fun song. Then we move into, is it Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited. Kind of the epic on the album, nearly 10 minutes long. Fantastic stuff. Lot to get your teeth into. Speaking of which, Kelly's Meat Emporium. I think this is the one, is this the one with the hand clapping? I can't remember if it's Kelly's Meat Emporium or In God We Trust, but one of them has a fantastic use of hand clapping in the song that works so well. It came out of left field. I was like, that actually really works. That's one of the reasons I like Carcass. They're not afraid to throw something in there that most people wouldn't do. Got this kind of almost poppy, just happy hand clapping in this really frenetic song. And we got Wake Up and Smell the Carcass, was great, and the Scythe's Remorseless Swing, which I think is the latest video that they put out. Really enjoyed this one. Just put my phone away. Really enjoyed this one. Another one that really showcased Bill Steer's bluesy playing, and I love the intro to this song. Just a fantastic finish to the album. I don't know, what would I give this? I'm tempted to give this a 9 out of 10 as well. Just fantastic. I love this album. Surgical Steel was a great album, and it's been a long time again since that came out. Was it 8 years? But they've come back with yet another great album. Carcass, Torn Arteries. If you haven't already, check it out. It's great to see some British bands out there who've influenced so many people who are still going strong and still doing their own thing. And like I said earlier, I think it's really a good example of a heavy band growing old gracefully. They've still got all the classic elements of Carcass, but they've added all these other little bits in as well. Carcass, Torn Arteries. Fantastic album. Check it out if you haven't already. You're going to enjoy it. Well, what was supposed to have been a short video has yet again turned into a Iron Maiden-esque epic, though far less popular and successful. But I've spoken about 2 albums on this that I've been meaning to for a while, so a lot of you are responding well to the reaction videos. I'm going to continue doing those. I've been getting tons of requests for Japanese bands, and I'm really enjoying it. I just did a reaction to a band called Maximum the Hormone, who've been around since 1998, who I'd never ever heard of. Fucking plane. And spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the reaction, I absolutely loved it. You should check out that video, Maximum the Hormone. Yoshu Fukushu, I think it was called. I'll definitely be doing more of those guys. on the channel. I like the idea of doing the reaction videos with songs, you know, with bands and genres that I've never heard before. I want to expand my music knowledge, and Japanese bands seem to be fucking awesome right now. I did one for Love Bites. I've got one coming up for Bandmade, and every video I put out for the reaction stuff, I seem to get more and more requests for other Japanese bands. So anyway, quite frankly, if you've made it this far, you're the sort of person who watches everything I do anyway, so good on you, thanks very much. And yeah, I will be back, no doubt, tomorrow. Now that I think about it, I'm going to be back tomorrow with my Bandmade reaction to a song called Blooming. Getting a lot of requests for Bandmade, so yes. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of this day now, I think. Well, apart from all the editing and stuff that I have to do. These videos take time, mate. See you later. Again, work on the outros, Ben.